The speed of modern news creates a deceptive sense of familiarity. We assume that seeing a crisis in real time means we understand it, but that visibility is often a carefully managed mirage. We exist within a system of sophisticated, invisible gatekeeping. Global connectivity often hides the barriers it claims to remove. High-tech networks have simply refined the methods of exclusion. The 2026 World Cup final in New Jersey represents the peak of this illusion. On the surface, it is a shared global celebration. However, $10,000 dynamic ticket prices functionally strip regular citizens of access to their own community's milestones. While the stadium is locked to the public, it opens for the powerful. Inside VIP suites, leaders from the U.S. and Mexico are conducting closed-door negotiations over the USMCA trade agreement. They are debating steel, agriculture, and cross-border tariffs, economic shifts that will affect the cost of living for millions, yet remain sequestered behind the glass. The financial exclusion of the public creates a secure, unmediated zone for these negotiations. When the gates are this high, political maneuvers can proceed without the friction of outside oversight. This strategy of isolation operates deep within national supply chains, where corporate secrecy can directly compromise public health. Look at the recent cyclospora outbreak. Over 1,600 people have been infected across 5 states, with nearly 100 hospitalizations tracing back to a single source in central Mexico. The pathogen moved through shredded iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms to Taco Bell. But because supply chain data is guarded as proprietary property, the public had no way of knowing their food was compromised. The FDA's current border screenings are entirely reactive. The system keeps the origins of our food hidden until the moment the safety net fails. When corporations treat their supply lines as secrets, they construct a blockade against oversight. The companies protect their data, while the public bears the physical risk of infection. Information blackouts trickle down to the state level, where barriers shift from non-disclosure agreements into literal physical walls. Colorado is currently seeing this across 2 different crises. Inside the Aurora Ice Processing Center, an active tuberculosis outbreak has been confirmed. Despite the danger, the GEO Group and federal authorities are actively blocking Adams County health officials from entering the facility to conduct a meaningful investigation. This creates a dangerous precedent, a private corporation successfully stonewalling a state health mandate during a highly contagious outbreak. Further south, a different kind of blockade is expanding across Custer and Pueblo counties. The Aspen Acres fire has surpassed 100,000 acres, triggering Stage 2 restrictions that have completely severed public access to the land. Whether enforced by a private security firm or an emergency environmental response, physical blockades serve the same purpose. They sever the link between the state's actions and the public's right to see them. You don't need high walls to build a blockade. In Eagle County, the most effective gates are constructed out of red tape and legal jargon. They use mundane tools, town code variances, zoning loopholes, and public notices buried in the back of the local paper. Quiet maneuvers are currently reshaping Minturn's Main Street through variances, while parcels of private land in Edwards face unpublicized condemnation. In Vale Village, aggressive foreclosure tactics hide in the fine print of sheriff's notices, revealing 8% interest and heavy attorney fees weaponized against owners. Bureaucratic opacity is a highly effective gatekeeper. It succeeds by drowning facts in terminology, relying on public exhaustion to ensure the most significant details go unnoticed. From World Cup VIP suites to local town councils, the pattern is consistent. Institutions rely on your inability to see what happens behind their closed doors. Passive news consumption is no longer sufficient. In an era of systemic gatekeeping, waiting for a summary means accepting a curated narrative. The antidote is unmediated data. It requires seeking out the raw feeds that the establishment prefers to keep under lock and key. Stop settling for the filtered version of reality. Bypass the gatekeepers and get your information directly from the Vailychat feed.